Okay, I'm gonna go through some hands from today's session. As you can see, this is the results from the session. Wasn't good at all. We played just over 1400, well, just under 1500 hands in just over 4 hours, and we basically lost most of the big pots and ended up down 5.5 buy-ins in total, which isn't great, of course. Bad start to this challenge, but anyways, let's go through some of these bigger pots in the session and see what I did right, what I did wrong, where I can improve, etc., etc. So first hand is the biggest pot we lost, joint biggest, but basically you can see at the top here we lost 4 big all-ins. So we'll go with the first one, pocket jacks. Okay, you can see that on screen, right? Good, yep, cool. So in the small blind, see this is a good one to start with because I completely fucked up from the off on this one. So we'll go through the hand anyway, right? Button raises 2.5x. Pocket jacks should be a mandatory 3-bet in this spot. But I misclicked. And I promise I did misclick. I wouldn't flat pocket jacks in the small blind versus a button open. But this time I did by mistake, which sucks. Big blind comes along. He's going to defend pretty wide. And we get this dry 10-5-6 rainbow flop. I check. Big blind checks. Button bets. He bets just over half pot. Which is fairly big for this dry board. He does, I mean, and it's 2 players. He could bet like a third pot. Pretty wide on this board. Given his range is full of straight draws. Some 2 pairs, plenty of trips, over pairs, top pair, all that good stuff. Facing this bet with jacks, I was a bit confused because obviously I'm way ahead of Villain's C betting range. You know, he's going to be betting Ace 10, King 10, Queen 10, Jack 10 maybe, although it's less likely he has that. Maybe even a weaker 10 like 10-9, 10-8. And then of course he's going to be betting some overpay. He's going to be betting his aces, his kings, his queens. And he's going to be betting his 5s and 6s and stuff. So there's plenty of hands he's ahead of. But then he's got all his bluffs and a bunch of hands which we could get value from with a raise. But I wasn't too sure. I mean, it's not the best hand we have. Basically, I don't have a flatting range versus the button in the small blind. So that's why this is very tough for me to go through because I just don't know what my range is. Anyways, I go on with the call, which I think is fine. We could raise. We could definitely raise and get value, but if he re-raises, we're in a really tough spot. Daz is in the chat. All right, Daz, how you doing? Just going through a couple of hands from the terrible session this morning. Big blind comes along as well. 4 on the turn. Okay, so some of his bluffs get there, like 7-8, of course. But that's about it. He can still continue with his trips and his strong hands. Then it gets really weird. This short stack in the big blind just leads for 1 blind. 2 cents into a pot of 39, which is just crazy. I don't know if he meant to do it or not. It's possible that he meant to bet big or bigger because one of the things I've noticed on 888 poker is that you've got the initial clock and then you've got your time bank. Now, when the initial clock runs out, your bet slider resets. So you can be getting your bet ready and you're just going to click bet, but then your initial timer runs out and it goes into your time bank and it resets your bet just before you click. So you end up just posting a min bet. That's happened to me a few times. So I wonder if this is what happened to this guy here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was deliberate. Anyways, the button raises, which is pretty standard for his strong hands. You know, he should be doing that with all of his value bets. And I'm stuck here with pocket jacks, not knowing what the hell to do. I think calling is fine. We're still ahead of a lot of what the button could have. If he's got like ace 10, king 10, queen 10, then this is exactly the play he should have made. He should have raised versus this min bet. So now I'm making a decision about whether or not to just re-raise, get it in, but then I'm behind all of the other value bets. You've also got the fact that he's raised to an amount where, you know, I could call, and then the big blind. I think you should always bet the flop. Let me finish what I'm saying. Yeah, if I call and then the big blind kind of min raises all in, it's just gonna get weird. So, but I do call, and the big blind calls, and he's only got 29 cents behind. Pretty awesome river, because now I'm ahead of almost all of the button's value range. If he was betting tens, I've now got him beat, which is pretty much his strongest hand, other than if he gets there with a straight on the turn. I'm ahead of all of his overpairs, aces, kings, queens, and obviously his 10x hands, and his flop trips as well, his fives and his sixes. So pretty great river for me. I don't know what my range looks like on this river at all because of the weird play, but I check. Basically hoping villain will go all in with his overpairs and his tens and his fives and his sixes. Big blind checks, and instead of going all in, villain bets half pot. So now I'm just going all in. You know, I only lose to, I mean, a flush is really unlikely. He could have a straight, but most likely we're up against aces, kings, queens, tens, fives, sixes, and we've got them all beat. So I re-raise all in. Big blind folds, even though he's, I mean, I don't know what the big blind has in that spot. Villain calls and shows up with 8-7. So he had the straight. Pretty standard play from him if we think about his button open, fine. The flop straight draw, he bets, fine. Was the no wait. Was it a flop? Did he bet the flop? It was the big blind. Let me go back. Big blind led, right? No, it was on the turn that happened. Right, yeah. So let's bring his hand in. Yeah, so he bet the flop, which is standard. He gets there on the turn. Big blind led for that one blind post. I don't know why. He raised. That's pretty much perfect. River's a jack. I don't think he needs to be scared of that river at all. All the hearts. I don't think that needs to be a problem for him. So he bets, and he's trying to get value from a 10. So he bets fairly small. I think his play, and I think calling the all-in is fine. He hasn't got to worry about the hearts too often to be worried. Yeah, so I think villain played it pretty damn well, and I played it terribly. What's that saying? I think you should always bet the flop on that board. Yeah, but leading the flop is a bit weird, right? Because I just flat pre, so you know, I don't really have a donk bet range. Especially when I don't even know what my range is there, because I don't flat pre normally. Reset your time to really time. Review live. What do you mean by that? I do not know what you mean. Reset your time to really time. I don't know what you mean, mate. Please elaborate. Anyways, right, let's check out the next hand. Yeah, so that hand, I think, you know, whatevs. It's a weird one because of the fighting pre and because of the weird big blind play, but it was, you know, a straight versus top set, so we lost our money there, so that's gonna happen. Next hand. Oh, we don't want to be showing villain's hand until the end, but okay. We'll show it at the end. We've already seen it, but whatever. Same villain, is it? I'm not sure. Pocket nines in the hijack. Standard open. Small blind raises. 4x. I think if you overbet flop, you would have got a fold. In that jack's hand, if I overbet flop and get a fold, then I'm misplaying that hand, right? Because if I overbet an overpair, I don't want folds. Reset your time to really. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You mean I've got a delay on this stream, haven't I? Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, next time I will. I don't think I can do it mid-stream. Next time when I'm streaming live, I will. When I'm reviewing hands, I will remove the delay from the stream. Yeah, good point. Thank you. Yeah, and as always, big blind comes along, overcalls. So pocket nines, we're just going to call. I mean, we're getting a 3-1. No, more, even more than that. We're getting 4. We're calling. No, we're calling 15 to win 45, right? So 3-1. Pocket nines are coming along. Look at that. Flop a set, pretty great. I want to check what my range is. In the hijack, calling a small blind 3-bet. Yeah, but if you overbet, you polarized your range. Very true. Good point. Okay. Okay, so generally I'm flatting with sort of mid pairs, 6s to 10s, sometimes jacks, as well as some suited aces, suited broadways, etc. So on this board, you know, I've hit with some queens like ace queen, king queen, queen jack, queen 10 suited. Queen 9 suited, maybe not. What was the 3-bet size? It's 4x, so yeah, I'm probably not going to have queen 9. Yeah, I don't think I have queen 9 here. And I don't have queens. Really, ever. And I don't have 3s. So this really doesn't hit my range very hard. So I don't think I should have a raising range when I'm betting to. But that said, I am going to have some bluffs. If I've got a hand like Jack 10 of spades, that'd be a good bluff, or Jack 10 of diamonds. That's if we face a bet, of course, which we do. Very small bet. You know, it's just over a quarter pot, not even a third of pot. Big blind folds. So now it's a question of raise or call. I think given that it's a weird one, I think range-wise, this hits villain's range more, right? Because not only does he have queens when I do not, but he has the overpairs, whereas the best I can have, other than trip 9s, is top pair. So it's whether or not we go for value. If he's got queens, he's got queens, but maybe we should be going for value, and then I could have some bluffs as well. But I kind of slow played this one and called, which I think would be fine now and again. I think we should lean towards raising. but it'll call now and again. Certainly if there was 2 to a flush out there, if it was like queen, if it's the queen of diamonds and the 9 of diamonds, then I would probably be more likely to raise. Yeah, I think so. He checks on the 4, which I'd expect him to do. If he was betting a hand like king queen, maybe he could just slow down a little bit on the turn. The 4 doesn't change anything, so when he checks, he's either checking to induce or he's just checking because he doesn't want to go for 3 streets with that hand. So if he's got a hand like maybe even bet like a queen jack, if he'd 3-bet that pre, he might bet the flop, check the turn. Anyways, I bet pretty small. I think that's too small. In fact, that is way too small a bet. Way too small a bet. Think about what's left behind. If he calls, there's going to be like 160 in the pot. Oh, no, there's going to be like... That's fine, actually. There's going to be 160 in the pot, 130 behind. No, it's fine. It's fine. He calls the jack river. Doesn't really change anything. Don't expect him to have jacks because of the flop bet. It's possible. And we know that he does, but certainly don't expect him to have jacks. And he definitely could have queen jack, and he could have other queen X hands. Yeah. So when he leads, I mean, to me, that it screams queen jack. His lead screams queen jack, but I'm just going all in here. I don't think there's anything else to do with pocket 9s. It's basically the best hand I could have, other than what could I have here that's better than 9s? Could I have king 10? Flop bet, I call. I could have a hand like king 10 of spades. Yep. I could have a straight. I could have the king 10 of spades. I could have king 10 of pretty much anything, actually. King 10 of diamonds. Yeah. Could have all the king 10 suited hands, and I would probably play it the same way. Less likely with the king 10 of hearts, because I'm more likely to fold that on the flop. And call with the ones that have the backdoor flush draw. So I could have a straight, but I think that's way too tight to only re-raise with a straight. 9s is certainly strong enough, especially when there are just so many hands in villain's range here, like queen jack, like an ace jack bluff, although that would be very strange for him to do that with. But if he bluffed ace jack on the flop, kind of gave up on the turn and then hit the jack and thought he could go for value. So yeah, I think there's nothing to do but all in. Villain calls, and he has the jacks. Which, if I was going to guess a hand he doesn't have, given that he bet the flop, it would have been jacks, but... There we go, set over set, and we lose another stack. Bit more standard in that one, though. Nothing much to talk about in that hand. This hand, king 9 of diamonds on the button. I open, min raise, face a 3-bet from the small blind. He's raised it, what, 3.5x? Yes, mate. No, the bet size, mate. This delay is annoying, isn't it? Because you're like responding to what I'm saying 2 minutes ago. Yeah, the thing is, if you look at what was left behind in villain's stack there, if he had the same stack as me, then yes, a bigger bet. But once I realised his stack size, yeah, that bet size was fine because it leaves a nice bet on the river that isn't too small. Right. Anyway, big blind calls. We we're getting we've got 3.2 to 1. So not going anywhere with King 9. If you think about, I mean, we can plug this in actually. Let's bring this over, right? Plug in some hands. I'm on the bottom of King 9 of diamonds. Villain is in the small blind with a 3-bet range. So, what's our villain's 3-bet range? Well, we can probably assume he's betting pairs. He's going to be betting his strong aces, his broadways. King Jack and Queen Jack, maybe. Ace 10 off, maybe. But these ones for sure. At least some suited aces, suited broadways. I mean, maybe even something like this. This would be pretty standard. Could be looser than that, but let's assume it's no looser than this. I think if we go with this, and in fact, let's tighten it up a little. Yeah. Okay, let's go with that. And then big blinds flatting range. I'm not too sure about this one, but I reckon we could see jacks now and again, and then a bunch of pairs. And I think we could see. I don't think we're going to see ace king. We could see ace king actually. Thinking about it, we could definitely see ace king now and again, but we could definitely see all of this stuff. As well as stuff like that. Could be looser than that, but let's go with that. And have a look at what our equity is with King 9 of diamonds. Yeah, mate, he had the jacks. He bet the flop with the jacks, checked the turn, and then he obviously led the river and called the re-raise. I mean, his lead on the river and calling the re-raise, I think, is actually pretty good. I just don't like his flop bet with the jacks. It's pretty... It's very very thin to go for value with jacks on that flop. Anyways, King 9, we've got 26.58% equity, and we only need 24%. So, and that's with, you know, some pretty strong ranges that I've plugged in there. I think they could be looser than that, and so we'd have more equity. So, King 9 suited, it's close. We've just got enough equity, and we're going to over-realize in position as well. So, coming along with the call on the pre-flop action is pretty fine, I think. It's a very, very tasty looking board. Small blind checks. Okay, so we can usually assume he's not going to have his aces, nines, eights, ace 9, ace 8, 9, 8, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, those kind of hands. Maybe ace jack, maybe a check ace jack, ace queen. I think he has to go for it. Big blind comes in for a 5/8 bet basically. Excuse me. And I think, given at this point we only need 28%, I mean, we can even put that board in as well. We can, what's that board? We got ace of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 9 of hearts. You know, pretty strong equity against his range. But actually, we need to do it. Just alter the range, right? Let's just alter the small blinds range and say he doesn't have aces, doesn't have 8s, 9s, or 8-9, or ace 9 or ace 8, because he bets all those, right? And he bets his ace king and his ace queen. Probably bets his ace jack off, and maybe sometimes checks ace jack. In fact, no one's checking ace jack there, right? So But he might check these weaker aces. Yeah, and let's assume he's not going to check. What else would he not check? On a 9-8. Not going to check 7-6 because he needs to bet that on the flop. He might. He's not going to check Jack 10. Let's take out Queen 10, Queen Jack as well. Say that there is bluffs. Yes, mate, I will next time. If I'm streaming a review, it will be in real time and not on a delay. Cheers, mate. Okay, that right, and then the big blind betting. Well, he's not going to be doing it with his 6 and his 7s. He's not going to do it with his weak 9 or his ace 8. And he's not likely to do it with a hand like King Queen. I don't think he's even doing it with these hands. Jack maybe. I think that's a pretty strong range we can put in for the big blinds leading. All right, so we still got 48%, so we're going nowhere. Cool. Small blind folds. 7 on the heart. 7 of hearts on the turn. Equity's dropped to 30% given the ranges so far, but that's given. Need to wipe the small blind out of it. Jumps up. Villain bets. We've got second player and a nut flush draw, so I don't think we should be going anywhere here. Definitely got stronger hands, but this one's got so much equity. We need 28%. Bear in mind, villain hasn't got much behind. That's the weird thing here. He's betting 62 into 94. The pot's 156. I need to call 62. That's going to put it at 218 with only 98 cents behind. So, I mean, actually, thinking about it like that, we're going to seriously under-realize our equity. If we just take a look at that board, the 7 of hearts on the turn, does that change what villain would bet? I think he kind of continues with everything. Maybe he's going to give up with some of these, but generally continuing. So we have got the equity against that range. It's just whether or not we realize it enough given, you know, given the lack of implied odds, because there's so much little behind you know, the SPR here. So it makes me want to lean towards folding. I made a big mistake of going all in, which I think is just terrible. We've got very little fold equity. We are rarely, I mean, you're gonna be amazed at what he turns up with here, but I would just never think I'm ahead when called. And I have so little fold equity that I hate what I did here. I think it's a fold, even though I have so much equity and I'm getting the odds. There's so little behind that I don't think I can call. But anyway, I went with it. Villain called. King of Hearts on the river is not bad, unless he has a flush. So when I went all in on the turn, thinking I was kind of going in as a semi-bluff, just trying to realize as much equity as possible, little did I know that I was the favourite with 66% because villain had a weaker pair and a weaker flush draw. But he got there, so I lost another stack. Okay, what is next? Pocket queens. Oh, it's kings v queens. Oh, we may as well leave the cards in. I mean, these are the kind of hands where you do lose your entire stack. I raise in the, where are we? In the hijack to cut off calls. Pretty loose player from what we've seen so far. Button raises as he should with his kings. Size wise, it's fine. Maybe he could go bigger, but it's fine. I 4-bet, which I think is fine with queens. I'm 4-betting and calling an all-in with queens. Size-wise, I think it's fine because we're out of position. There's another player we want to make sure doesn't come along. And villain calls. Now, if you are playing kings and you are 4-bet in position, do not call with your kings. You will make far more money by going all in. You will get called by queens. You'll get called by jacks sometimes. You'll get called by ace-king. You haven't got to worry with your kings about aces. That's just going to happen now and again. He should be going all in. As played though, he calls. So I think, okay, I'm probably good. And on this board, I think I'm good all day. Neither one of us has 6s, 3s, or 2s in our range. Or, you know, like a 5-4. So I'm feeling pretty good here. I don't think he's got aces or kings, so I feel pretty good. I bet really small here. I think it's too small. He's going to have spades, right? So we can't. He's gonna have hands like ace king of spades now and again. Ace queen of. You're not gonna have ace queen of spades. That's for sure. He's gonna have ace jack of spades, king jack of spades, things like that. So I should be charging more. But if we bet 32 and he calls, it's going to be 194. It's because of the stack sizes though, isn't it? Because I've only got one behind now. Yeah, it's an odd one. Yeah, strange spot, but I think, yeah, I can't bet less than that. So we're just betting that and then looking to go all in on almost any turn. Obviously, it's an ace or a king. Probably not, but what did he do? He re-raised, right? I bet he re-raised. I think he's got, you know, jacks, tens, something like that. Ace X of spades. I call. Turns out he has kings. I lose. Standard. Nothing I can do there. Okay. I think I'll do one more. And that way we've done the top 5 pots of the session. Pocket jacks. Oh, look at this 9 deuce. We lose jacks to... Oh no, we win this hand. Sorry. Do end up winning. Okay, so hijack raises. I'm in the small blind flats with 9 deuce. My God, have I not got a note on this guy? There we go. Mark him green. Don't do this, guys. Don't flat 9 deuce in the small blind when the hijack opens. In fact, don't flat 9 deuce in the small blind ever versus any action whatsoever. I don't care if the entire table limps. Don't limp in with 9 deuce. Certainly don't call a raise. I squeeze with jacks. I think that's pretty standard. Big blind versus hijack. You can certainly call with jacks, but I think because of this dead money in the flop with the small blind, and given that I'm actually happy to get it in against villain with that stack size, he's got like 60 big blinds. I'm happy to get it in with jacks for 60 big blinds. So if he jams, it's an easy call. Not happy about it, but it's an easy call. As it is, this guy folds. The guy with 9 deuce goes all in. The hell is that? Actually, do you know what? He gets a different colour for that. He gets a blue. Because he's a whale. Right. I call with jacks. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Can you imagine if a deuce or a 9 came on the river? Oh no, yeah. If a deuce or 9 came on the river and he won, that would have been insane. So we won that one. So it seems like we can only win when you get crazy players going all in pre-flop with 9 deuce. But we'll look at another one. I don't think it's worth looking at ace 5. I think I ended up jamming when I possibly shouldn't have. I had a nut flush draw and a straight draw. Nut straight draw and nut flush draw. I went all in and got called by ace king. Raised ace 5. This guy flat ace king, which you shouldn't do in the small blind. Then leads out. Why lead out? You know, I'm going to have kings, queens, aces, 2s, you know, king, queen. I re-raise. Could call, but I feel like this is one of my, obviously this is one of my weakest flush draws. And I have all of my flush draws in my range, so it's not actually, do you know what, thinking about it, it's one of my weakest nut flush draws, but it's not one of my weakest flush draws. I have plenty of other flush draws which could raise. But then again, I've got all the other nut flush draws. I've basically got ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack of spades, ace king of spades. So I think having a nut flush draw in my raising range is good. And therefore I think like 5, 4 and 3 are the ones to do because they've got that backdoor wheel draw as well. So I think that's fine. I raise. He calls. It's a 10. I turn a little bit more equity. It does improve some of his range if he's got a hand like king 10, but you know, he might even have ace jack. It's not likely. He checks. I think I have to barrel. I bet. He calls. Standard. It's the 8 now. I go all in. Which, think about it. I mean, what do I want to block? I don't want him to have a hand like king jack. King. I don't want him to have 2 pairs, right? King 10, queen 10. But I can't block any of those. I'm not sure what the best hands to go with. This one at least blocks, you know, the strong pairs. Ace king, ace queen, ace 10. Problem is that it blocks spades. You know, if we wanted, you know, if we wanted to fold a king, it'd be good if it was like a king 5 of spades or something like that. I'm not sure, but I went for the bluff all in. Villain calls. He has ace king. I lose. Yep, that's it. I think that'll do. Mert's in the chat. What's up, buddy? How you doing? I mistakenly put a delay on this stream, which I normally do for when I'm playing. I shouldn't have done it for this one though, because I'm going over hands. Should have been live. So anyways, you're tuning in towards the end of it. I'm pretty much done now. Just gone through the top pots, most of which I lost in this session, which you can see I lost 5.5 buy-ins in a 4-hour session, which sucked. Yeah, just gone through the hands. I don't think I made too many mistakes in that. The ace 5 of spades hand, I'm just not sure if this is the best hand to bluff the river with. I think my play is fine, pre-flop, flop, and turn. It's just deciding whether or not that's the hand to go with for the river all in. I think it is, because it's, I mean, I don't think I have other suited aces. So having an ace is good, because we block the stronger pairs that can call. So I think that's fine. Maybe there are better, maybe just give up. And we don't get much worse in my range than ace 5. Unless I did bet hand like, because actually even all my other bluffs get there. You know, if I'm betting jack 9 of spades, 10 9 of spades, we hit the 10. Jack 9 of spades gets there with the straight. Ace jack gets there on the turn. Just can't think of any other. Maybe I, you know, if I had like 9 8 of spades gets there on the river. 8 7 of spades gets on the river. I mean, what else other than maybe 7 6 of spades? I think that's probably about it. The ace 5 I think makes a good bluff for the river. All the other hands I think played fine, except obviously we had that weird one. Was it the 9s or the jacks? I can't remember. Anyways, that'll do. That'll do for this session review. I'll be streaming again Sunday evening, I think. Check it out.